Hi everyone, this is a review on the Mostrad Executive Minimalist wallet. Before we get started, I should say I live on a kind of busy street, so you might hear some noise in the background. And I'm not like a professional reviewer or anything, so you might see some, blunders or whatever. I'm doing this on top of some shoe boxes here, and I'm using my phone as the camcorder, so I apologize if the quality of the recording is not so great. Anyway, let's get started with the review. This is, like I said, the Mostrad Executive, and it's available on mostrad.co. They have a couple of different versions available in a couple of different colors, and this is the brown version. It comes in this box, which is actually pretty nice. The box is pretty sturdy itself, okay, and it's shipped, pretty quickly and securely, and the box is just by itself is very, very sturdy, and so it's a nice thing to keep if you want to store, some things that would fit in there. It came with the this Mostrad bottle opener, okay, you can see that there, I guess, and a sticker here, I guess, a nice sticker if you want to put that somewhere. I don't have really any use for either of these things, but I guess it's a nice little accessory to accompany the wallet. Okay, so the packaging is very nice. It's like I said, a very sturdy, feels like a pretty good box. Moving on to the wallet itself. Okay, physical features. It is a folding wallet. Okay, this is what it looks like, and it's leather almost all around. You have 6 card slots. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, including the this quick draw on the outside. Okay, and then you have obviously this band for your cash on the inside. Okay, so those are the physical features. There is also some kind of like nylon material in the lining, and I don't know if you can kind of hear it. Maybe not too much on the camera, but you can hear it in person for sure. So when I first got the wallet, I was just like, what is that sound? It sounds like some kind of plasticky sound, and it's that nylon lining there on the inside there. So you can expect that. Okay, so let's go over some pros and cons. We'll start with the pros before we get to the bad stuff, I guess. It is much smaller than your typical wallet, obviously. Your typical like department store wallet. Compared to my old one, it is much smaller, and I'm very happy with that in terms of the size. And there is this easy access and the quick draw. Okay, that's a huge plus right there for like your most frequently used card. It's a very nice thing to have there, to just be able to access that card without opening anything and swiping, putting it back in there. It's one of the best features of the wallet. So and then I would say the last con is that it's got separate pockets. So there are some minimalist wallets that you keep all your cards stacked up together in a stack like this, and you just put them in your wallet somewhere. This one has separate pockets, so you can, you don't have to dig through all of them to find the one that you're looking for. You just store it where you want, and that's like your go-to place for each card. So that's a nice feature of this wallet as well. Okay, so let's move on to the cons. There are a couple of downsides to this wallet. The first one is it is not for frequent cash users. So if you use cash frequently, you do not want this wallet. Most likely you don't want it. So my brother, I got one for him as well, and he uses cash a lot. Places like 7-Eleven, getting coffee every morning before going to work. And the cash band, it just, 2 things. First of all, it's not wide enough. It's not wide enough to easily store cash and retrieve cash. So let's go over a couple. Here's I don't know what, 5 bills. Yeah, so 5 bills, which is really not that much. That's not an unreasonable amount to carry, right? I'm sure people carry a lot more with them most of the time. But you can see here, right, the leather kind of I guess shaped to the shape of the cash here. So just getting it in the first time was not easy, and even now, I've had this wallet for a few months now. This is what it's like just to get the cash in, 5 bills, okay? Just to get it in, it takes that much time and effort. So imagine doing that every time you use cash, okay? You want to start, a lot of times what I end up doing is whenever I get change from a cashier or whatever, I just put it there and then put the cash in later because I don't want to hold up the line or anything. Okay, that's what I do. So that kind of defeats the purpose of this band. And you can see that it really, you kind of have to bend the cash, curl it up a little bit to get it in there, and then when it is in, it's very secure. Okay, that's not going to go anywhere. That's very secure. So that's a plus, but it does have to does take some time to break in there. You can see the folds there. My brother actually considered just basically putting some slits here, cutting it with scissors or something, and it's not a bad idea probably. So that's one thing to be aware of. Okay, if you are going to get this as a frequent cash user, I would look at a different wallet. This is a huge problem, I think, and it is going to take some time for that to break in, right? Even now, it's still not easy to get cash in and out. So you kind of have to curl it in there and really just shove it through or pull it through, and then it'll be nice and snug and secure. So, and that's what it looks like closed with 5 bills. Okay, so keep in mind there's no cards in here yet, right? Just 5 bills. So again, that's a huge drawback for frequent cash users. I couldn't say I would recommend this one at all. That's probably the main drawback. Other drawbacks, other cons, I guess. There is this quick draw on the outside, and if you fill up all of these the slots, it is nice that they are separate and they are divided, right? And typically I carry about 6 cards with me. Driver's license, maybe a work ID, couple credit and debit cards, and right. So I use all the slots that are given, and then if you have cards in there, it's not always easy to access each individual one when the wallet starts to get full. Like it's not like difficult, but there are times when I'm like really, you're at a bar or something, they want to see your ID, or you're trying to find the right credit card to use for the right rewards, and you got to dig through there. So it's nice that they're separate, but at the same time, as the wallet gets more and more full, it does take a little bit of fidgeting to get the right card out, and it can be a bit of a downer sometimes, but it's not too big of a deal. Okay, the quick draw is a nice feature, but I've seen a lot of like the advertisements and when they try to sell you the wallet, it's made so that you can keep the card in the wallet and just swipe it without actually taking the card out. Now, I've had that work maybe 1 or 2 times. Okay, like I've tried it a couple of times and I just end up taking the card out because it won't swipe. And obviously the problem with that is it doesn't come out far enough for you to swipe that thing. You have to really take the card out to get it into that slider. So that's a big drawback too. I don't really mind because this is still not that hard, to just take the card out and swipe it. But for those of you thinking that you can just push it out and swipe it, it would have to be near perfect. Like you would really have to set this thing up perfectly, hold the card down, and then swipe it through. Like that kind of defeats the purpose to me. I think it's easier to just take the card out, swipe it, and then put it back in. So keep in mind that this is going to take some breaking in. So what I did was I kept 2 cards in there for a while, and then because at first it was very difficult to take the card out even with 1 thumb. Now it's much easier. It just slides in and out pretty smoothly. But I kept 2 cards in there to kind of stretch out the leather to make that happen. Okay, and the last drawback, I guess, would be as you start to add the cards, and you put the cash in there. So again, I use all of the pockets, and that's 6 cards, and here's 5 bills. Okay, the wallet does, starts to get a little bit bulky. Okay, so here's a nickel in side-by-side comparison. Okay, and this nickel's, guys know what a nickel's like. Just take one out and kind of get a visual there. That's how kind of thick the wallet gets. Okay, and if I squeeze it really tight, like it's still, it's not really going to change. Okay, just to give you an idea of the thickness. So that's with 6 cards in there and 5 bills of cash. Okay, so if you're thinking about carrying more, obviously it's going to get bulkier, and that's kind of what it looks like, right? So this is not something that I would put in my back pocket. I never do that anyway. It's just I don't understand how people can do that. It's so uncomfortable. But that is another problem, is it does start to get a little bit bulky, primarily because it's a folding wallet, so it hides the cash on the inside, but it's kind of a trade-off. Okay, I don't think there's such thing as a perfect minimalist wallet. It's just about finding what's going to work for you. Okay, so conclusion, I think it's a great starter for people who are looking into minimalist wallets. It's a great starter, except for those frequent cash users. If you're a frequent cash user, again, I wouldn't use this one. But it lets you kind of figure out what you want and need from a wallet. So if I was going to use cash frequently, now I would realize, okay, this is not the wallet that I want, right? I don't use cash too much, so I don't have a problem with it. But the thing that's getting to me now is the bulkiness. And my brother has a Colonel Littleton, which is a kind of the traditional front pocket wallet, and the cash access is easier, and it also has separate pockets for the cards. So I like that there's separate pockets for the cards, but again, this is a folder. It's not a typical, front pocket wallet, excuse me. So it does take up a little bit more space compared to a traditional front pocket wallet. Okay, so that's the review, and I hope it kind of gives you guys an idea of what the wallet is like and the pros and cons. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks, guys.